Another month has passed. That means it's time for another haul. This one, you want to stick around till the very end, so let's talk about it. Hey everybody, Sean Chandler here. October has been a pretty just mind-blowing month for me. I went to California for about 10 days where I went to a conference in San Diego for a few days, ran into my buddy Silver Screen Analysis Anthony from there, talked with him for a little bit, and then I went to LA for a week, went to a bunch of the sites, talked with a bunch of my friends, tried to build some connections, figure some stuff out. All in all, a pretty incredible little month. If you're new to my Blu-ray hauls, my haul videos, they're intentionally meant to be a little bit more laid back, relaxed, and allow my personality to come out a little bit more. No script, no notes, just me grabbing stuff, talking about it, telling stories, letting you know a little bit what my month was like and the context of where some stuff came from. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this, there's something really cool that someone gave me that we're going to talk about at the very end of this. Just so you know, over on my second channel, this is my vlog channel, I've got a fan mail unboxing video that's a companion to this video. You'll know why when we get to the end of this one, and I'll have links in the description, cards up above when it's appropriate, and then the end card on it will be that. With that said, let's get started talking about the Blu-rays I picked up. First off, we'll see, pick up actually the first three of these came from some fan mail. Hey, like I just mentioned, one of my supporters over on Patreon sent me some fan mail, had 3 movies inside of it. First off is a movie called First Reformed. I haven't seen this movie yet. I'm pretty sure he knows that I haven't seen this movie yet. People have been telling me to watch this movie since it was in the theater over a year ago. So he sent it to me so I can actually finally sit down, watch this one, and he'll be able to get my take on this one. There's no particular reason I haven't seen it. Literally, the guy that was the best man at my wedding, I saw it at, I think, South by Southwest a year and a half ago when there was a press screening in Austin. He really tried to get me to go. I just couldn't go that particular day for whatever reason, so I haven't seen it, but it's been on my mind and one that people are pressuring me to see for quite a while. Other thing Jackson picked up for me, Scooby-Doo. What we got? Complete first and second seasons. I got kids. We watch a lot of Scooby-Doo in my household. Got several of the movies. Now we can start going through seasons 1 and 2. Very cool. I'm sure as soon as my kids get home from school, they'll be very excited to see this. And then the third one, Nathan For You, show I'm not really familiar with. I haven't seen anything. I don't know anything about it, but apparently he loves it. He thinks I'll like it. So now I've got something to check out and see how I respond to it. And then I can talk to him about it. Like I said, he's one of my supporters over on Patreon. And with my supporters on Patreon, we do a weekly live stream. And so I'm actually able to get to know them a little bit better and interact back and forth. Because, you know, in my comment section, there's so many people that I can't keep up with everyone. But over on Patreon, there's normally about 10 people in the Q&As. So if you're in there every week, I know who you are. I know what you like. I know your sense of humor. It's pretty cool stuff. But anyway, this isn't a plug for that. He just happens to be a sort of reporter for Patreon over there. And so I've gotten to know him pretty well. And he gave me something else. And you're going to see that at the end of this video. Next up, Zombieland. I didn't own this one, and then the new one was coming out, so I needed to rewatch it. So actually, the guy I go to the gym with, he gave it to me. I actually owe him $4 for it. I haven't given you $4. You'll probably check this one out. I've got your $4 in my wallet. I just haven't given it to you at the gym, because every time I show up at the gym, I put my wallet in the little cubby box, and then I start talking with you. Then I leave and grab my wallet. So I need to remember to give you the $4 when I see you for that one. Next up, this isn't a Blu-ray, so it's cheating a little bit, but the Triple Terror Collection. Really, I picked this one up just for Stephen King's The Shining, the miniseries from the late 90s that Stephen King himself wrote the script for. It's much more of a translation of the book to the screen rather than an adaptation. Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, it's infamous that Stephen King hated it. And so people are like, oh, Stephen King's crazy. Why would he like it? Well, he doesn't like it because Stephen King, being one of the great novelists of the 20th and 21st centuries, wrote something that was very personal to him about alcoholism and had a bunch of stuff in it that actually mattered to him. And then Stanley Kubrick made a Stanley Kubrick film. He abandoned the stuff that mattered a whole lot to Stephen King. So Stephen King watches someone where someone took his work and then changed it all up. You know, if you're Stephen King, you don't appreciate that very much. Anyway, all that to say, there's a reason behind where Stephen King's coming from. That's not just that he's crazy and has bad taste in movies. No, he changed it. Stupid Kubrick changed stuff. But so then 20 years later, he made a mini series based off of it. I'm actually currently watching through it. I'm about halfway through the mini series. It's much, much closer beat by beat, shot by shot, scene by scene, chapter by chapter to the book itself. There's some modifications, but it's much closer to what you saw in the book. So anyway, I have a ranking of that coming out in about a week after Dr. Sleep comes out. Next up, The Heat. We've also got a new Paul Feig movie coming out next week, last Christmas. So I'm hoping to rank all of Paul Feig's movies, and part of that involves rewatching all of his movies. So I picked up a copy of The Heat. I know a lot of people like this one. This is one of his movies I'm not particularly crazy about. Like, there's a fun novelty to seeing Sandra Bullock in a cop movie and behaving badly a few times inside of it. But once you move past that, Melissa McCarthy's kind of like doing her most generic Melissa McCarthy, just screaming obscenity stuff. So I'm not the biggest fan of that guy. Next one of these days, I really want to rank the Evil Dead movies, and I don't currently own Evil Dead 2, or Army of Darkness on Blu-ray, so I 2/3 fixed that problem and picked up this dual feature of 1 and 2. There's almost one that I was going to do this actual week. I ended up doing my top 10 favorite horror movies of all time, which is probably a better one to do, but still, one of these days, Evil Dead ranking is going to happen. I've got the movies to make it happen, so probably within the next 6 months. Don't know when, but maybe January, February, something like that. We'll make that one happen. And then later in November, we've got a new Rian Johnson film, Knives Out, which I love. I've already seen it, put a review out of it. I loved the movie. I know people have strong feelings about him ruining their childhood. Doesn't change what he did in other films, which leads us to Looper. I've actually only seen Looper one time. It came out right after my son was born. And we're like the first movie we went to go see in the theater or something like that after he was born, because of a certain plot line inside of it around, well, let's just say around children. Didn't sit well with us at the point in time we saw it. Was like, oh, respected it, enjoyed it. Probably a better time to rewatch it now. So I picked this one up so I can rewatch Looper and talk about all his movies at the end of this month after Knives Out comes out. But like Rian Johnson's done more movies than The Last Jedi. And just because he had a different vision of Star Wars than you doesn't mean that he's like a bad guy. He wanted to do something different than you wanted to have happen. Doesn't make him a bad guy. It means he has a different opinion. If you have a very passionate negative opinion on the movie, go for it. That's totally fine. Going after him as a person, probably not the coolest thing to do. From there, we've got some movies that, we got this one right here. It's called Aladdin. It's from my childhood. My buddy Andy, I haven't had him on my channel recently. I need to have him back. So Andy actually gave this one to me. I don't know why. Like, he apparently got copies of both this one and the live action one. For some reason, he asked, hey, do you want the live action one? Do you want the animated one? So I already bought the live action one. So yeah, I'll take the animated one. So he gave it to me. So for whatever reason he had it, I would love to have it now. So now I do. And we haven't even had the chance to sit down to watch it with my kids yet, because I just got it a couple days ago. He gave it to me at the gym. Apparently the people I go to the gym with are a major theme inside of this one. But yeah, so a classic, and now I have it on the Blu-ray. Then I don't think I had this one in last month's, but we got a new Spider-Man movie, new MCU film, so naturally it went out and snagged this one. Even got it in the 4K, since I'm trying to future-proof some of my collection at times with the movies that I know I'm going to be watching for a long time. And so future-proofed this one a little bit, got the 4K, even though I don't have a 4K TV or 4K Blu-ray player, but someday will. Maybe, probably within the next year I'll upgrade. But so anyway, Spider-Man Far From Home. I've talked about it a ton on my channel, so I don't need to dive into that too much more here. But yeah, I mean, just I don't know. I think a solid MCU film. I've got more problems with it than some people, but you know, my thoughts are well out there. I don't need to spend time in this video rehashing them. Then, speaking of going to California, I went out to California. I stayed with my buddy Tyler Tompkins. He used to have a YouTube channel. Whenever I first started, he was growing his at the same time. So that's how we got to know each other, was via that. And then he actually stopped his channel. He's moved out to LA to, you know, pursue the movie world and all that stuff. And another buddy I spent a ton of time with while I was out there was Griffin from Film Speak. Used to be Men vs. Movies. Another guy I met whenever I first started my YouTube channel years back. And it's pretty wild that I think Tyler, I believe, was in Louisiana. I was in Texas. Griffin was up north and in college. None of us were in LA. And then a few weeks back, through totally different life circumstances, all of us were in LA. Two of them had moved there, and I'm spending the entire week with them. All that, and he's kind of pursuing film journalism, stuff like that, and getting some amazing opportunities doing interviews. I mean, he's interviewed Willem Dafoe, Edward Norton, Bill Hader, and two of those were in the last month, and then Bill Hader was last month. I mean, so just really cool stuff. But as part of that, they send him free movies. So he has like stacks of movies that he was sent that the studio sent to him. And he's like, hey man, would you like these 4 movies? And I was like, yes, I would enjoy those 4 movies. First up is going to be the Lion King remake. My hat is sneaking up on me, so I'm probably looking rather silly right now. Is that a nice look for me right there? Right there? There we go. I washed my hair before bed, so my hair looks pretty crazy. So I put the hat on, but then the hat keeps sneaking up on my head. So it looks crazy no matter what I do. Anyway, we were talking about The Lion King. So he was not a fan. He was one of those people that thought it was a lifeless remake that added nothing. Cool visuals, but that doesn't make for a good movie. So he didn't like it. I did. I really enjoyed it. Actually, I saw it with Tyler. Tyler was moved to Texas before he moved to LA. And the last time I hung out with Tyler before he moved to LA was I took him to the press screening of The Lion King at the Bob Bullock down by the UT campus. So that's where I saw that. But my kids haven't seen it yet, so I'm pretty excited. My wife hasn't seen it yet. So one of these days, now that I'm back in town, going to sit down, watch this with them. And I think that'll be pretty cool. It's been tough to get to some of this stuff because with Frozen 2 coming out in about 3 weeks, I'm trying to get a new Disney ranking out about the post-Renaissance. And then, as we'll talk about in just a second, Charlie's Angels has a new movie coming out, and Shining, and Rian Johnson, and Paul Feig. There's so many things I'm looking to rank this next month that are original rankings that I haven't done before, that I'm having to rewatch it or watch a ton of stuff this month. So I haven't been able to show them The Lion King, which I really want to see how they respond to The Lion King and how my wife in particular responds to it. She saw the Aladdin remake, and she was like, I don't want to see that. This is stupid. Why does this even exist? Then I bought it, and she's apparently been watching it kind of like on loop. Like while I was in California, she just watched the Aladdin remake a whole bunch of different times. Anyway, back to Griffin and his gifts to me. Both Charlie's Angels movies directed by Mick G. So I have seen these movies over the years. I don't think I saw either one in the theaters. It was of particular interest, and I saw them about 10 years ago. I don't know when I saw them. I really don't know. I know I've seen them at some point in time, and they are Red Bull or 13-year-old on Red Bull's brain in cinematic form. At least 13-year-old before the internet gave them access to all sorts of things they shouldn't see yet. This is what 13-year-old boys dreamed of being able to watch, and so I've rewatched this one in preps for a ranking with the new movie coming out. I haven't rewatched the second one. They have a lot of energy, these movies, right there. That's what I'll say about them. I haven't decided what else I'm going to say about them, but they have a lot of energy in them. And then we got the Child's Play remake. I dug it. I think it would have been better if they hadn't called it Child's Play. If they had just done it as inspired by Child's Play, in the vein of Chucky, or an homage, something like that. But when you call it Child's Play and it's about AI's gone wacky instead of, a guy putting his soul in a doll using voodoo, it kind of makes some people mad when you don't have Brad Dourif. Doesn't matter that you got Mark Hamill. Just people get mad, and they're not off base. There's something that they loved. They loved things about it, and the creators threw that out, and they went with something else. People feel betrayed when you do that. I enjoyed the Child's Play movies, but I'm not close enough to them that I would feel betrayed. So I enjoyed it for what it was. It's not great, but a lot better than some people gave it credit for. Moving on to our final little stretch here. Got some cool movies and TV shows coming out in the next few weeks, and I wanted to get some Funkos to go along with it. So first up, we've got an Elsa. I don't have any Frozen ones yet, so I thought that would be fun. I was going between Anna and Elsa, and I went with superhero Elsa for this one. So she sings Let It Go. My daughter has the dress and everything and is dressed up like her for Halloween, I believe, before. So picked this one up so my daughter could be happy. And then my son has dressed up like Boba Fett, and we've got The Mandalorian coming out soon. As soon as I saw this one at Best Buy, saw Mandalorian, I was like, all right, that's my pickup for today. That's what I'm buying. That was actually yesterday. I was like, all right, I didn't get any new Funkos yet, so I should try and see what I can find. So went into Best Buy, and I saw this one. I was like, that is it. It's a nice looking guy and my son's going to love it. And we got The Mandalorian, and I want to be talking about that quite a bit the next month. So picked up both of these yesterday at Best Buy, one for each of my kids, and line up nicely with some new releases and just some pretty cool stuff. Alrighty. Then we have this figure right here that someone actually mailed to me in the fan mail I talked about that we'll be talking about. And the big one is the next one after this one. This is very cool. Like, this is in and of itself would have been amazing. The other thing is next level. But so this guy, Toby from England, sent me a Captain America Legends. So I obviously, if you've seen my Marvel videos, I love these Legends ones. Love to swap out my characters in the background of my videos. I don't have a Captain America yet, and the ones that I've seen, I have a costume I don't really like. So finding the right costume that I actually want is always tricky. And then he's like, "Hey man, I got this one right here. Would you be interested?" I was like, "Yeah, I would. That is the one I want. That's the one that looks cool." So he sent this one to me. Just picked it up in the fan mail, so you can actually have that link right up there where you can check out that fan video. But the big one that I told you to wait around to see, this one, Jackson, who I mentioned before, sent me something else inside of the package, and you can see my reaction to opening this up in that video that I keep referencing. The card will be there, it's in the description. But I opened the package not knowing what was going to be in this deal, and open it up, and there's a little deal with a Funko. So I open up the Funko, being like, "Oh, he sent me a Funko, pretty cool. I wonder if it's one that I have, one that I want." And this is what it was. It is a custom designed Sean Chandler Talks About Funko that I'm holding my silver play button. It has the design of a t-shirt that I designed myself. Like, I made this t-shirt design, and he custom designed a Sean Chandler Talks About Funko Pop for me, which is mind-blowing. Pat flew off my head. We'll go crazy here for the end of this deal. He actually designed a Funko for me, had it made, and mailed to me, which is, I already had the unboxing video where I was like, I can't believe someone did this. And then once again, now, like, I can't believe someone did that. That is just amazing that someone cared enough. That really, I don't know. If I was a crying person, I'd probably be crying right now, even though I would have been crying in the previous video. But so very cool that someone would do that. So thank you, Jackson, for this. Very cool stuff. If you're wondering where you can send fan mail, there's a link, or not a link, but the address for my P.O. box is down below in the description. So anyway, there you have it. There's my month. It's been incredible that, travels, gifts, cool things, and then topping it all off on the last day of the month, I do a fan unboxing right before I shot this video, and someone actually invented this bad boy right here for me, which it's incredible. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. All of these incredible things are possible because you guys watch. Actually, yesterday, I just posted, earlier today, I posted a interview I did with Gabriel Luna, the new Terminator. I'm getting those opportunities because you wonderful people care what I have to say about movies and things like that. And so it just means so much to me that you guys care. With all that said, thank you so much for watching. Keep talking movies too much.